So I never wanted to have to make this video, and even now I don't want to make it. But we're dealing with someone here who's so vile, such a liar, such a piece of shit, such a con artist, such a grifter, that he needs to be exposed. And I created the monster. I unleashed the monster. And before the monster gets too powerful to control, I'm going to put a stop to this. So I'm speaking, of course, about my former good friend, Serp Kerp. Now, as you guys may have noticed, he's been appearing on the show a lot less lately. And some people have attributed this to differences in time zone, or we're both working full-time with considerable commutes, and it's just kind of hard to coordinate that kind of thing. But that's not the case. The case is a lot of stuff has been going on behind the scenes. You see, Serp is a meth addict. He's an extremely belligerent one. Whenever I try to call him and like, hey dude, do you want to watch the latest My Little Pony? Do you want to play some video games? Do you want to discuss the 88 planks of the Nazi Party platform? He just doesn't like want to participate. He's just high on meth. He's just screaming about how Stalin did nothing wrong, about how Japanese kaiju movies are the greatest achievement of human civilization and the greatest achievement they will ever reach. And I just can't take it. And he's been doing this downward spiral for years now. And the other night, the final break came. I told him he has to stop doing meth. That the whole meth no state thing is just a meme. And that he really doesn't have any business being in the meth no state anyways. And so he snapped at me and he started talking about how much money I spent gambling on gacha games. He's like, you gamble on gacha games 7 days a week. And I'm like, that's not true. It's 6 days a week. And then he said something that just, it was over after that. He said, Argent, by the way, Leafeon is best EV evolution. Or best evolution. And I'm just like, it's over, dude. I could accept Umbreon. I could accept Jolteon. I could even accept Sylveon. But Leafeon is only used by F-slurs. Leafeon is the most G-slur of all the evolutions. It is a pleb pick. It is the... I don't even know how to describe it. So, I just told him, look, dude, we'll fight IRL, come to the border between Canada and the US, and we'll have this out. We'll have this out. You can come there high on meth, and I'll felt you. I'll beat the shit out of you. So what does Serp do? He calls the police on me. He calls the RCMP on me. They show up. I show them footage of him snorting meth or however you consume meth. And they're just like, okay, Argent, this dude's obviously crazy. But the friendship's over. Friends don't call the cops on other friends. They fight each other IRL in venues that never actually come to pass. And so I'm here to tell you all about Serp, all the dirt, all the secrets I've been covering up. And you may be wondering, what is this HAPA man with the weird eye doing staring at the screen? This is a picture of Serp. This is a picture I took a while back. The truth of the matter is he's not white. He's a HAPA. He's a HAPA who has severe identity issues, who has memed himself into thinking that he's the reincarnation of Joseph Stalin, and that he's white. And that he's destined to live in the methno state. That he is going to be welcomed by all the Wignats with open arms. And he's just not, because he's a HAPA. He is half Chinese. And his real name is Stephen Kong. Serp Kerp is a Chinese-esque abbreviation of Stephen Kong. That is his name. And he does not actually live in the Western United States. He lives in Ruttville, Vermont, at number 10 Ashton Drive, across the street from the hardware store. But guys, even though I tell you this, don't go harass him. I wouldn't want you to go harass him. That would be really mean if someone did. And there's been a lot of speculation about what he does for a living. I've heard people say he's a mechanic. I've heard people say he works at a factory. I've even heard people say he's a university professor. But the truth of the matter is he is a bylaw enforcement officer for Rutland, Vermont. And most of his days, what he does is he goes from house to house, looks at the garbage bins they put out, and fines people if they put stuff in the wrong bin. maybe you put that meat bone into the garbage bin instead of the green bin. Well, he's going to fine you $50 for that. And they have kind of a bounty system there, so you get a portion of the fines that you put out. And from my understanding, he's pretty good at it, and about 5% of the city's budget comes from him constantly issuing citations. So yeah, he spends his days rummaging around in garbage like the garbage human being that he is. And more recently, he's also been enforcing mask mandates. He goes around, if people aren't wearing the masks, then he can issue them a ticket. Something he does that's particularly scummy is he'll go up and knock on people's doors, and if they open the door without wearing a mask, he has a ticket there right ready to issue to them. And that's just who this dude is. And he'll come on, he'll tell you he's edgy, he'll tell you all this shit. He'll tell you he's Catholic. I know for a fact he goes to an Episcopalian church. A black Episcopalian church in Vermont. And they engage in rituals there where some of the a guy from the congregation dresses up as George Floyd and smokes weed while the rest of them chant out, "I can't breathe. I can't breathe." And that's kind of like what they've replaced the Book of Common Prayer with, is just a book that has a bunch of blank pages for the minutes that George Floyd was silent, and then just "I can't breathe." And that's how they do. That's how they do the Eucharist at that church. So that's kind of Serp himself, aka Stephen Kong. But it gets worse than that. So Serp Kerp likes to try to pass off his degenerate taste in women by saying that he likes Asian women, but that's not strictly the truth. Serp Kerp's live-in girlfriend is named Taishana Sanchez. And that is a picture of her. She is half Filipino, half African, first generation on both sides. I can't even understand what she's saying. It's this weird mixture of like a Ghanaiese accent, whatever the hell that is, and a Hispanic accent. So it's kind of like someone took Pidgin and mixed it with Spanglish. And it's just the worst. And she lives with him, and she, I think, was an illegal immigrant, but he lives in a sanctuary city. So in Vermont, she gets money from the state government in order to live there. And she actually makes more money than he does as a bylaw enforcement officer. And the whole thing's a welfare scam. And she's pregnant at the moment with their third child. They intend to have 7 or 8 children to try to single-handedly change the demographic makeup of Vermont on their own, and to just get more welfare money out of the government to feed Serp Kerp, aka Stephen Kong's, growing meth addiction. And he gives his meth to his kids as well. And apparently, meth stimulates the brain in babies. This is true. And it makes them, their brains grow really fast. So that's going to counteract whatever the dysgenics are. And they're going to be the new face of globalism. This is the face of globalism. And this is the face of globalism here. And that's the face of the person who's going to tell you, put on a mask, sir. Take that vaccine. He's already gotten his 4th dose. He'll come on here. He'll talk about how, all kinds of shit. But the truth of the matter is, Serp is a grade A degenerate. He's not too right-wing for the Republican Party. He's not a member of the Republican Party. He's not even a member of the Democratic Party. He's a member of the Democratic Socialists of America. And I've caught him jerking off to pictures of AOC on more than one occasion. And sometimes his girlfriend even joins in. But this is the kind of scum that we're dealing with. And this man needs to be exposed, and he needs to be driven off the internet. He needs to be removed from the community and removed from life. Because he snitched on me to the cops. He went to the cops and he told them that I had challenged him to a fight in real life. And when the cops came to me, I said, look, these never happened. Could you find me a couple documented cases where it actually happened? And they found maybe 1 or 2, but I was able to brush it off and say it's just an expression. It's just freedom of expression. I was expressing my dissatisfaction with a notorious meth head white supremacist, and I was able to get away with it because of that. So that's Serp Kerp. Once again, Stephen Kong, who lives in Rutland, Vermont, at number 10 Ashton Park, across from the hardware store. I'll be putting his contact information and his employment information in the description of this video. I don't know why I'm putting it there. Don't call him. Don't call his workplace and try to get him fired. That would be really bad. Don't report his live-in girlfriend to ICE. That would also be really bad. Tyshauna Sanchez is a proud fake American, and she needs to contribute to the fabric of that great country.